Hello, hello, and welcome to Just Another Movie Night's Talking Trash Holiday Edition.
Talking trash.
We're on a holiday road. Holiday road. Yeah, we're in a holiday kick, and we're watching some real holiday trash. And it wouldn't be Talking Trash without it.
You are being very, very naughty.
Naughty this! Carpet Day!
We are diving into the Silent Night, Deadly Night cinematic universe.
Cinematic universe? Oh, wait, we have one more of these godforsaken things.
No.
No?
Is there?
I thought you said there were 6.
I don't think so.
Okay.
And if there was, what would it be? But,
It could be anything because this movie was definitely something.
Here's what I'm learning. This is a cinematic universe that doesn't even know what it's doing at all. It's the most bizarre universe I've ever witnessed. Marvel isn't even this convoluted. This is like Into the Spider-Verse, except we're following the cinematic jumping of a character named Ricky.
Okay, but Ricky's character ended. It's gone.
We've thought his character ended like 4 or 5 times, Joe.
Yeah, no, but there is really the Ricky as we know him.
Which Ricky?
The Ricky from Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Ricky
That
Bobby?
Ricky. Garbage Day.
Wait.
That Ricky is gone.
He died.
Yes.
And then we found out in part 3, he was in a coma. And then he was given a chrome dome headpiece that you could see his brain in. And he went on an insane killing spree.
Yes.
Then, part 4, he was Clint Howard. And he was a homeless bum. A homeless bum.
Well, that's...
Is that PC?
I mean, no.
He was a homeless man, apparently, who worked for a coven of witches.
But he's not our Ricky.
And he died in that one, too.
But he's not Ricky. They just named him Ricky.
Calling him Ricky.
But they just named him Ricky. Maybe it's like an homage to Ricky.
He died in part 4. And in part 4, he's watching on television another Ricky moment from part 1 or 2. Right? And then in part 4, he dies. Part 5, Clint Howard's back. He's Ricky for a cameo, and he is playing a Santa Claus at a mall.
Yes, but thank God it's just a cameo, because I couldn't take more than 13 seconds on screen. I couldn't take it.
So, and if that wasn't enough, the main character, Kim, from Silent Night, Deadly Night 4,
Yes.
returns in this movie as the next door neighbor.
Yes.
What's even more crazy is on television, the kid in this movie is watching part 4.
Yes.
And there's another character from part 4, although I couldn't tell you who this character was.
Apparently, yeah. There's another character, but I don't know who it is either.
Yeah, this is the most bizarre series of movies. I mean, like we've seen. Let's just name some of these things, right?
Yes.
Puppet Master, Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Final Destination, Silent Night, Deadly Night, the series. So it's like they have a checklist, and they're like, we got to do something crazy in each film. This is what John Carpenter wanted to do. He was like, in Halloween, he was like, you know what, Halloween, I don't want it to be the same movie. I want it to be a story. I want it to be an anthology series of movies. Silent Night, Deadly Night did exactly what Carpenter wanted to do. He's like, Killer Santa Claus. We got to do another one? Okay, let's just do the first one again, but add a half part of a new one. Then the third movie, they come along and they go, hey, what do you want to do this time? I don't know. What if we have that guy with the killer brain sticking out of his head?
Oh my
Cool. Fourth one. What do we want to do now? Witches? That's exactly what Carpenter did with part 3 of Halloween.
God.
Witches.
Witches.
Now they go, what's part 5 going to be? Killer toys. Now, I got to tell you, there is nothing I love more in horror than killer toys.
I know, I love it too. I love it. I love dolls. I love killer toys. I love all
it.
that. And
I'm
so
a sucker for this trash.
this movie's called Silent Night, Deadly Night Toy Maker.
5. Silent
Yeah.
Night, Deadly Night. 5.
The Toy Maker. And, oh wow. Okay, first, can we just start with the casting?
Well, I can't do this justice without telling you a great bit of trivia. Do you know any of the trivia?
I haven't looked yet.
This is the best trivia of all time. This is the only thing I knew about this movie before going into it.
Oh, you knew
When
something?
the first Silent Night Deadly... I don't know much, but I knew this
God, I'm
much
like, what?
trivia. When the first Silent Night Deadly Night movie came out, people freaked out and lost their minds. It made a shitload of money, which is really odd. But also, it caused an uproar. Religious people went absolutely bonkers. They wanted this to get an X rating. They didn't want it to happen. One of those people was Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney went out of his way to condemn the film as a vile piece of shit.
No way.
And he said that the people who made it should go to hell.
Oh my God.
Guess
Shut
what?
up.
Who's the star of part 5? Mickey fucking Rooney.
Shut up.
Can you believe that?
That is just too bonkers.
Yep. That's how desperate he was for a paycheck for this movie.
Well, he needed to
Mickey-
fuel his alcohol.
Well, Mickey Rooney has a interesting past. He was a mess. And he put so much money into so many businesses trying to keep afloat, and all of his business kept getting bankrupt.
You mean Mickey Rooney's Weenie World?
When I was a kid, I went to Mickey Rooney's Wiener World. I have a pin from it still. I actually loved it, and I don't know anybody else who's ever been there.
I've never heard of Weenie World, but you know what? If Weenie World was open today, I would go.
Yeah. There's nothing like a Mickey Rooney wiener.
Oh my God. Okay, so
You want to put a wiener in your mouth, Joe? You put a Mickey Rooney wiener.
ew.
It's like a Vienna sausage sized.
Oh my God, stop.
It's crazy. So yeah, here we are at part 5, and Mickey Rooney actually stars in this film.
Oh my God.
And he is, every scene he's in, he's drinking.
I can't believe that piece of trivia. I'm baffled. That's
Yeah.
just bonkers.
He was a part
shocked.
of the religious community against it, which is really funny because he was a known drunk. He was also a known gambler and womanizer, and he was also very, very rude and vile to a lot of people in Hollywood, and that's why he couldn't get jobs.
The younger audience, because they don't understand.
The younger audience doesn't want to see
that's
this.
that's who's watching this.
No, it isn't.
Yes,
They're watching sexy things.
the kids are watching this. That's why we're doing this.
So this is a low moment for this actor.
Oh Jesus.
Going
Well,
from talking trash, which was what we do, to kissing ass. Insane.
wow. Okay, that just blew my mind. But I'm in shock. But this movie is it's definitely something different from Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 4, The Initiation. This movie, I was excited when I saw the toy maker on screen. I saw the words "the toy maker." I was like, "Oh hell no, we're gonna be in for it." I love
Yeah.
like killer toys and killer dolls and stuff like that. So I was like, "Oh man, okay, this is already right off the bat from the title. It's gonna be better than Part 4. It's gonna be. I just know it. I had
Yeah.
it. I feel it. Felt it in my bones."
Were we right? I don't think so.
Were we right about it being better than 4?
Yes.
Yes, I did think this movie
Part
was better than the 4.
Part 4 had some insanity in the middle that was pretty interesting.
Okay, yeah,
and culty.
there was insanity
This
in the middle,
movie
but this movie,
Maybe the last 30 minutes were in that range of culty where it was like getting interesting, but man, was it a slog to get to the
no,
to-
I really liked this one. I did.
That
I don't
blows my
care.
mind.
I had fun watching it. It was so there was like so many cringe moments, like creepy things.
What?
You just
No,
okay.
no.
Yes, you
no.
don't remember things.
Let's do what we do on Talking Trash, and let's break down this film scene by scene, and let's see if we can get through it. And then at the end, let's see if we can change each other's minds, because it's going to be a tough one. This movie starts right off the bat. It's either Christmas Eve or days before Christmas, because the Christmas ornaments stay up for 3 weeks during this movie. So I don't know if it's Christmas.
I think in the opening we're approaching Christmas.
Because right off the bat, there's a child. He, of course, because it's a Silent Night, Deadly Night, he hears his parents, his mother, and whoever this gentleman is banging. It wouldn't be a Silent Night, Deadly Night film without a child having to bear witness to full-on banging. So here we are. We hear some commotion. The kid goes to investigate. He sees the bumping and grinding. If this bed is rocking, don't come knocking. Don't come and looking in there, right?
Said bumping and grinding.
Bumping and grinding.
Like this is the 90s.
They're only draped perfectly in a blank, like a sheet covering up their junk, but they are going at it.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, shit, I'm going to go downstairs and look at the Christmas tree and look at the presents. Well, there's a knock at the door or whatever, and he goes and opens it, and there's a present waiting for him. It says, don't open till Christmas.
It has his name on it, so it's from somebody that knows him.
Yes. He closes the door. He automatically starts opening the present. Right at that time, sex has ended, and the man in charge comes down and says,
Hey! What in God's name are you doing up at this hour? And what is that?
It was on the porch. You didn't hear the bell.
God damn it, Derek! How many times do I have to tell you not to open the front door by yourself? Especially at night. Now go to bed.
rightfully so, kid.
Don't open the front door at night.
Front door at night and go outside for anything. So he jostles the kid around. The kid, he goes, go up to your room. The kid goes up to his room, and he
doesn't really go up to his room.
He's hiding up on the staircase, and that's the moment where the man decides to, you know what? Let me investigate this package. And yes, investigate the package that was left on the doorstep that this kid found. He almost just puts it under the tree, and then he goes, nah, maybe I should investigate it. And the only reason is because it starts shaking.
Yeah.
So he decides to now look inside, and we get a Pokemon ball.
That's what it
do you
looks
call
like.
it? Pokeball? I don't know what you call it.
Pokeball? I don't know. I'm not hip on that.
Well, you got to catch them all, Joe. And so he grabs it, and he looks at it. It's a red ball with a black stripe around it.
Yeah.
And I instantly said to you, it's going to be a Santa Claus.
No, I said it was going to be a teddy bear.
What are we going to get here?
I thought it was going to be a teddy bear, like a killer teddy bear. It's going to lunge out at the guy.
Well, we saw it was a ball. So we were like, what is it going to be?
Yeah, that's what I thought before he opened it.
Yeah, and then I said, I think it's going to turn into a Santa. And sure as shit, the little white dot on the top lifts up, and there's a Santa head. And it's a happy Santa. And it's playing some music. Then the head spins around, and it's an evil Santa. And best thing of all, for some reason, arms shoot out that made it of elastic, and they wrap around this guy's head.
Yep.
Right? And there's some kind of blue electricity going through the face of the Santa, and it wraps around this guy's face, and it pushes itself against his mouth.
Yeah, like it's biting his mouth or something, but it can't be.
It's not. Yeah, we don't know what it's trying to do to him.
Electrocute him through his mouth or something? I don't know.
Well, in full Zack Snyder mode, we get slow motion fighting with a Pokeball on his face. This actor's going for it too. He is going all over the room. Slow motion. We have to watch the entire struggle. The kid's just watching, not moving.
No, he's
not shocked, not screaming, nothing.
Just staring.
Fine. And while this guy is going nuts, smashing the room, he knocks over all the fire pokers, and they perfectly land where one fire poker sticking up in the air. He trips and falls, and he goes right into his face.
Yep. That's it. Out for the count.
And the mother comes down the stairs and screams, and we cut to 2 weeks later.
2 weeks later.
2 weeks later, and this kid is fucked up, and rightfully so.
Well, yeah, he just watched his father just die in a horrible,
And-
horrible way.
And we're never really told if it's father, but
We just
it's some
assume
kind
it
of
is.
gentleman that's living with them.
Right.
He's helping raise. Never say father. They never say boyfriend. We don't really know who he is, but we know that they're together. Some kind of
We just assume.
unit.
So
Some-
we cut to 2 weeks, and it seems like, well, he hasn't really said anything. He doesn't talk. The kid.
He hasn't talked in 2
He's
weeks.
very, very traumatized over what happened. His mother seems to be okay.
Kind of. She's really worried about the kid, and they're saying that it was an accident.
Yeah.
What has happened is an
He
accident.
tripped and fell on the fire poker or whatever. The
Yeah.
husband. Okay, fine.
The kid has not warned them that the Pokeball has attacked his face. Because he's not speaking, and he's just not having it, anything that's happening with him. And the mother just wants him to get over it.
Yeah.
That's basically the idea here. Get over
It's
it.
been 2 full weeks since you've seen someone brutally die.
Yeah.
You should be okay by now,
Yeah.
Derek. You'll be okay now.
She's struggling to find things. So, best choices, let him watch some Rambo cartoon series. Well, I pointed this out too because this is one of those crazy cartoon series that existed where, as a kid, we never saw the original movies because they were rated R, hard R.
Yeah.
And
There's a
they
lot of
made cartoon
violence.
series out of them.
Yeah.
This is not the only one. I think there was like a couple other insane ones. And it's mind-blowing that these things existed. But yeah, he's watching Rambo, the cartoon series.
Rambo. Anywhere and everywhere, the savage forces of General Warhawk threaten the peace-loving people of the world. There's only one man to call. Get me Rambo. From the canyons of skyscrapers to the canyons of remote mountain peaks, Liberty's champion is unstoppable. Rambo, helped by the mechanical genius known as Turbo, and the master of disguises named Cat, the honor-bound protector of the innocent. Rambo, the force of freedom.
And he's just sitting there, and we get the neighbor and her son come over.
Yes.
And it just so happens that the neighbor is Kim from the last film.
Yes.
And she is just as bad as an actress as she was in that
Oh
movie.
my gosh, she can't deliver a line to save her life.
The main actress in this movie also cannot.
No, but she's not as bad as Kim.
It's
But why
it's borderline.
Like, I don't understand what the fuck is the goddamn motivation here with the filmmakers. Why are you putting this woman in another movie? She's fucking awful.
And
She was really bad in the last one. Why are you putting her in this one?
Yeah, she makes a
And she's not-
reference
she's
to
playing
the last
Kim.
one.
Yeah, she's playing Kim, but she's not like following up with that's like, a continuation of her character or what happened from the last one. She has a whole new life. It's a whole new character. But her name's Kim.
Yeah,
It's so
she says a
stupid.
line of dialogue in this movie later on where she says, I've been through a lot of shit in my life. You wouldn't even believe it. Sometimes I don't believe what has happened to me.
Yeah, and then
As a reference to the last movie.
It's like, okay, well, great, now she's got a kid.
She has a kid who is older than the kid in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
which would suggest that she was pregnant in the last movie, and this child is somehow either the guy who died that was her boyfriend in the last movie, or some kind of part of the cult. It's bad. They don't even tell us. I was making jokes that if this kid's name is Hank, right? Was that the kid,
Yeah.
the guy's name? I think if this is Hank Jr., maybe they'll make a reference to it, and we'll be like,
There's
oh my
no way
God.
that could possibly be because she was impregnated in the last one, except she had like a worm baby in her. And so it's like
Yeah, but I mean,
it's
yeah,
so
I guess that's
stupid.
true.
Like, why
I mean,
would
this
you-
whole thing is stupid. I mean, it's so insane.
there is no reason at all to bring this actress back. The role was insignificant and stupid. She was just a neighbor. There was no reason for her to have a single like line of dialogue in this movie. She was fucking awful in the fourth one. I couldn't stand her.
Yeah, it is so. It's so odd that they brought this character back.
I mean, for no reason whatsoever. So
They're
she's-
going out of the way in this one to reference things about the last movie. Like the director and the writer of the last movie, they reference him. It's strange.
Like, we just don't need it. It was aggravating.
Yeah, well, So yeah, they're coming over and they're trying to come up with ideas of how to help this kid. Kim's son is awful. He's like a little douchebag.
He's a little prick, yeah.
And he looks like he walked out of a 90s show for like, what was that? Zap, zzz, like they had the bop ball and all that. And the kid was like overhyping it.
Yeah. Like he was in like a 90s commercial.
Yes. He looks so overboard 90s.
Was
He had the hat,
ridiculous.
the big hat backwards.
No, it was the hat that was flipped up, remember?
Oh, was it flipped up?
Ugh.
I'm pretty sure he had like a flannel and a huge Zach Morris
No, he
shirt.
was wearing all like neon, like that, like.
Yeah, but
like,
wasn't it wrapped around his waist? Like a
God,
like a 90s.
Probably he just looked awful. Who?
So
Someone sitting right out of Saved by the Bell, like
Yeah.
in the early years. Terrible.
So this kid sees a commercial when he's watching Rambo of a toy store, and it freaks him out because the toy is this killer Santa Claus toy.
Yeah, that killed his father.
Yeah, it didn't really kill his father. This toy really didn't do anything but make him not see.
Well, it created a situation.
It created this situation.
Yeah, where like he would have no. I mean, that toy single-handedly caused his death.
Yeah.
Because it caused the situation. It started zapping him and biting him or whatever it was doing, or choking him, and he tripped and hit that fire poker. So it was the toy that killed his father, and that's what's in his head.
I absolutely. But if you ask me, this toy just did nothing. Like he could have just sat there and tried to get it off his head.
For real. And then what we learn later is that this toy is still in his house. We see it on the shelf.
Yeah, that's even crazier. We kind of get a shot. He's been sleeping with his mom in the bed with his mom still because he can't go and sleep alone. He's really messed up. And we see his room and his toys, and it just what happens on his shelf is the toy.
It's that toy.
So
if
it's
it
been
was
sitting
sent
there for
to him-
2 weeks.
Right. It was sent
Which
to
is so
him
weird.
to kill him.
Yeah.
And it didn't kill him. It ended up, his father died, but this thing is in his house still.
Yeah.
So how come it's 2 weeks later and it still hasn't made another attempt on his life?
Exactly. And we keep seeing shots of a guy in a very bad. He looks like Kyle Reese from Terminator in a weird way.
Dare
like
you?
the way he's dressed. He's got like a little bit of a thing going on with his face where he's just like he looks like he knows a lot of shit, but he's not saying anything. And he's got that giant jacket, and he looks like Kyle just came and he stole the jacket from the store and from the bum or whatever.
Kyle Reese would be very upset with you saying that. This guy is a total turd. He ain't no Kyle Reese. Dare you?
All right, so he's staying outside and he's watching outside this guy. He just keeps driving by. We don't know who he is. We don't know anything
Yeah, he
about
keeps driving by their
We
house.
just keep seeing him stare at the house.
We just think he's a creep.
Yeah. So her idea to get this kid over it is to go buy more toys.
Yeah, she wants to give him a present because he's been, sad over the loss of his dad, and he's been traumatized really hardcore, and he doesn't speak anymore. So she's like, well, we didn't really have a Christmas, so let's just go to the toy store. So, oh my God, okay. I can't even say what I want to say about this toy store, but I'll just say that when they get to the toy store, it's called Petto's. Petto's. Pettos. Petto's toy store. And it just so happens when she opens the door, it's Mickey Rooney who owns the toy shop, and his name is Joe. So
Joe Petto.
Joe Petto.
So if you guys haven't figured this out already from just that, it gets worse with this.
It gets worse.
This wink wink.
Much worse.
Yeah, the toy maker's name is Joe Petto.
Mm-hmm.
And he has, when they get in the store, a person in a monster mask jumps out at them and
It scares
startles
the
them.
crap out of the kid.
Yeah, I mean it's just the worst
For
thing to
no
happen
reason.
to this kid.
Yeah.
And it's a kid in a leather jacket, and he takes off. He turns out he's got the mask on, and he was like, "I was just trying to play." And Mickey Rooney, or Joe Petto, comes in and says, "Damn it, Pino!" Right? Pino?
Pino.
Pino, guys. Pino.
Pino.
Joe Petto and Pino.
Can figure it out.
Wow. I wonder how this movie's going to end. Fuck me. I mean, this is bare bones. This is like the worst of the worst.
They
Like,
tell you the whole entire
Entire
answer
plot.
to the plot
Yeah.
right there.
so Joe Petto is trying to get this kid some toys. He tells his son, "Get in the back, damn kid. Get in the back.
Get out of here. I have
you little
customers.
fucker. Get in the back there."
So this little boy does not want any of these toys. He could not be less interested in any of these toys.
Before we get a little further into this, that guy, that creeper from outside driving around, he comes into the store and hides in the back.
Yeah, he's like just skulking
He's
around.
skulking in the back, and he's not letting the woman and the kid see, or Joe Petto. I can't believe I keep saying Joe Petto. It just sounds so bad.
Just call him Petto.
Wiener World, Mickey Rooney's Wiener. He's walking around, and he's trying to get this kid some toys, and Pinot Noir comes out of the back room, and he shoves a box in front of him of a toy that's a giant box with just a little centipede toy in the middle.
Okay, can we just say what it really is? It is in a pink box, okay? Like, it's almost a doll. Like, it's a doll.
It's a huge box for a little toy.
Yeah, it's a huge box, and it's called Larry the Larva.
And it's spelt wrong. It's actually the plural of larva.
Yeah, it's the plural.
It doesn't say larva.
It's the plural form of it. It's
so it's
like,
a
so there
fuck
should
up.
be two of them in there.
Yeah.
But whatever, it doesn't matter. This thing looks like
It looks terrible.
it looks like a snake that it's supposed to be a worm, but it looks like a snake that has definitely been mutated with something
It has
else.
googly eyes on it. It
Yeah.
looks like something you would get out of a 25-cent machine back
Yes,
in the day.
it does. So
Yeah, it looks terrible.
Yeah.
And he shoves it at this kid and says, "I want you to have this." He's like, "What are you doing, Pinot?" He's like, "I want him to have this toy. You made it." And he's like, "No, they don't want it." And they're like, "You know what? I think this was a bad idea. I think we're going to leave." And he's like, "I'm sorry." It turns out that Joe Petto and the main mother character, which I can't remember her name. Sarah. They know each other. Apparently they've been coming to the store and they know them in this community.
Yeah.
Which is really strange going forward with some of this plot. So they seem to know each other well. And he doesn't say, he's like, "Oh yeah, a lot of bad things have happened." But he's not saying, "Oh yeah, your husband is dead. And I know you're going through a rough..." It's not like that.
No.
It's basically just going, "Hey, how you doing, friend? Oh, I'm going to help you out as much as I can."
Yeah.
And it's odd. It's
You can
like
tell
an odd
Mickey Rooney's drunk.
dynamic.
He's really drunk.
Yeah, he gets right in the kid's face. He's
right
like,
in the kid's
you can
face.
tell
He's
he's got
like
some
so-
alcohol breath on him.
He's
He's
sweating.
kicking it.
Yeah. Oh my
This
God.
kid is not having. He's got his scrunched up, shit smelling face.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh man, just get out of my airspace. I can't breathe."
This kid, great that he doesn't talk throughout this whole movie because he's got a shit smelling face the entire film.
Yeah, he really does, and rightfully so, because there's some crazy things that happen in this movie.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel bad for him. But
So he leaves. The mother and the child leave, but the guy skulking around in the back, it's like he's got a revelation. And Pinot kind of like barrels into him and knocks him down, and he takes Larry the larvas and
larvae.
whatever, googly eyed Larry.
Yeah.
He picks all these toys up and he grabs that toy and he's like, "I want to buy all these." And Joe Petto's like,
Joe
Petto's like, "Okay," and we get a whole scene of him ringing him up with the old school credit card machine and all that for no reason. And we follow this guy. He brings all these toys home to his. It's a motel. I guess it's a motel,
It is a motel.
or it's a really pretty looking on the outside.
Yeah, but it's a
And we
motel.
see that he's like going and taking all the toys apart. And he gets a knock at the door and he opens it. And it's this really funny guy. He's dressed, he's got like a craps dealer.
He does look like he looks like a casino.
He looks like he works for a casino.
like a blackjack dealer or something.
Yeah,
and he's got, but he's actually turns out to be the owner of the
Yeah.
motel, or the motel manager or whatever. And he says, "Hey, you haven't paid your bill.
Your credit
or
line,
your credit card is
bounced,
declined
yeah.
or whatever." He's like, "So you need to get out of here." And the guy's like, and so not Kyle Reese says, the guy's name is Noah. So he says, "Just give me until tomorrow morning, and to pay you, And the guy's like, no, you need to get out of here now. And the guy's like, Noah says, all right, here, take this toy for your kid. I know you have a kid. Take this toy for your kid, and I'll pay you in the morning.
You're so much nicer
And you
because he
can-
basically says to him, he's like, hey, how about I give you a free toy for your kid?
Yeah, I said, you know what? How about I give you a free toy for your kid if you just let me have until tomorrow morning?
And the guy's like,
Yeah,
you know what? I was going
alright.
to kick you out 4 or 5 times, but now you said toy?
Yeah, you're gonna give
I'm
me a toy
into
for my
this.
kid because it's Christmas time and all that crap. Okay, yeah. So he gives him Larry the larva, and the toy, and this guy doesn't think anything of it. He's like, oh, this better be good.
A larvae.
Whatever, however you pronounce it, it's so ridiculous.
So yeah, Schmile Crease hands him the Larry the larvae, and he's really into it. He slams the door in his face,
Yeah,
and he says, "Oh, before he slams the door in his face, he goes, is it a good toy?" And he says, "It's to die for."
yes, he does say that. He
What-
does say that. It was
we're-
the stupidest thing.
We're like, this guy's a villain?
No,
He-
well,
Because you don't know what's going on at all, and it doesn't make sense.
I mean,
like
he
that.
honestly figured that one of the toys that he purchased was a killer toy.
Which
so,
is nuts.
I mean, if you were going to look at the toys that he bought, you would look at Larry the larva and say, hey,
Something's wrong with this thing.
yeah, this thing ain't right. So he gave him, and I guess he was going to be the guinea pig. So the
I don't think
motel-
he's the guinea pig. He just doesn't want to pay rent.
No, he doesn't want to pay rent. So he's like, here, just take this. It
guy.
could have been any toy, but he just gave him.
Schmile Crease is a real douchey dude.
Or you could say Noah. That's his
Okay,
name.
whatever. I like
But,
Schmile, but
Or not Kyle Reese. But anyway, so the guy gets into his car and he takes Larry, the larva,
yes, please break this down.
with him. And so the craziest thing happens. So
Well,
the guy's... What were you going to say?
I just wanted to say this actor, there is no expression acting. There's no like establishment, no creepy tone. This guy says everything that's in his brain out loud.
What the? What the hell is this? I'll be a son of a bitch. Yeah. This something. Damn. Look at that thing. Hey. How do you shut this thing off?
Yeah, he does.
He just keeps going, ooh, look at this. Oh, look at that. Oh, right, I'm going to drive on this road now. I'm driving. Ooh, what happened back here? What's this? He just keeps doing that.
Yeah, his
And
thoughts are just
it's
spewing out
fucking terrible.
every time he has any random thought. So he's driving along and he hits a bump and Larry the larva's in the back seat. So it absolutely gets loose, obviously, and crawls under the seat and ends up somehow like on the floor of his car by his feet. The hotel owner looks down and he's like, hey, how'd you get up here? So he picks it up and puts it on the car seat next to him. And
He almost looks like he's going to buckle it in.
he
Did
almost
you
looks
think
like,
that at first?
yeah. So this thing is just sitting there on the seat next to him. And it starts like moving closer and
Well,
moving
he picks
closer.
up a little device, which I didn't understand.
Yeah, it had, so on the back of its tail had like this little button that you press to make it move.
Yeah, it was like
And-
attached to a long tube.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it that it was attached to it at first. That's why I
Yeah.
thought he was going to buckle him in. And then I realized he started turning him on. I was like, how did he get this
Yeah.
controller? And you told me, oh, it's attached to him.
Yeah.
Although it's wild that it was under the floor, that he put it up on the thing, and the device was up there too, and it was ready to go.
Oh yeah, I mean,
So
it
he
was-
turned them on, and then
Yeah.
he won't stop inching forward.
Yeah, he kept inching forward and then he started making hissing sounds or something. And he had these ridiculous googly eyes. So what did
He's doing this like the whole time. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, you're crawling around, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he was like
won't stop
thinking out
crawling
loud.
around.
He would not stop. It was like, okay, we just didn't want to sit in silence, so he just decided to spew out every thought in his head.
Yeah,
That
we can't
character
figure it
was
out.
so weird. But then he just, he takes the Larry the Larva, and he's like, okay, well, this thing must be broken because I'm trying to turn it off and it just keeps inching forward. It keeps inching
He's
next to me.
saying that too.
He's like, oh, I'm trying to turn you off. Why? Well, this you must be broken. So he takes it and he puts it in the back seat again. Now, the most amazing thing happens at this point is after he does that, Larry the Larva actually crawls up onto the seat behind his head and bites him.
Nope. I think it jumps in his mouth.
It bites him first.
Does it?
Yes. And then he turns around because he gets startled. And then...
While he's driving, too.
Yeah.
He doesn't stop.
No. So it bites him. And then after he turns around and he starts screaming because he sees it, he's like, ah! Larry jumps into the guy's mouth. And the comical way that this happens, I can't even... Literally... The thing, it's just wagging its tail, hanging out of this guy's mouth. It's just astounding. It's astounding.
Even better is his eyeballs fall inward.
And when Larry is in his mouth, he somehow sucks his eyeballs out of his skull, or into his skull, I should say.
It seems to be.
And his head just seems to cave in while Larry is in his mouth.
No, and Larry comes out of his eye socket.
And then Larry comes out of his eye socket right
says,
before.
Hello.
Yeah,
He doesn't. I wish he said that.
He doesn't really say
I
that,
wish
but
he did.
he comes out of his eye socket, and then boom! Obviously, the car flips and lands on its hood
In a perfect field.
in its roof, in a perfect open field.
And I said, please, God. And right before I even finished saying it, it exploded.
Yep. And Scott's like, yeah, please let it explode. Please let it explode.
I didn't even think I got I got it out.
And you can see
I was like, yay!
the comical fuel line.
You could see the
on the
TNT
ground,
line,
like
or whatever
coming.
it is.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my god, but it was a cool explosion. But yeah, there goes Larry the Larva. He's gone.
Now let's be honest. You reacted. You went, that was awesome.
Yeah.
You said, oh. Larry the Larva's googly eyes came out of an eyeball, fell inward on this guy's head sometimes. And you love it. You went, I'm in.
I was in because I love the eyeballs falling in. I thought that looked cool. I liked it.
It was fun.
I liked it. It was a really fun scene. And so back to the kid. God. So, yeah, after what happens in the motel, okay, we know that not Kyle Reese or Schmeil Crease.
Whatever you want to call him, Noah, you said?
Let's call him Noah. He is trying to get to the bottom of what's going on in this toy store. Obviously, certain toys are coming to life and killing people. But this particular kid is of interest for some reason to whoever is doing this. And so we learn that, it's like, I can't give it away.
I want to see where you're going because I want to know what time.
Well, because this kid is completely... The kid opens the door and there's another present on his doorstep. And it says to Derek, and don't open until Christmas, right?
No.
Doesn't it say that?
No, that's way later with
No.
Kim.
The kid...
The mall Santa thing didn't happen yet?
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I think that's the next thing that happens.
Yeah.
He goes to the mall.
We see Clint Howard.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's when we see Clint Howard. Okay, so the next scene is that we cut back to the kid, Derek, and his mother. And his mother says, "Oh, let's go see Santa."
Yeah, she can't get it.
She can't get that this kid's like completely traumatized and does not want to do these
and
things.
And it might have to do with Christmas and the Christmas tree and
toys.
And toys, everything that has to do with the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
The guy died in front of him and I still can't tell what day it's supposed to be.
I feel like
it's a days before Christmas. Now they're at a mall Santa.
I think it's days before Christmas because the mall Santa's still there. So
we're gonna talk to mall Santa.
So we're gonna go and ask Santa. Yeah, he goes to the mall with his mom, and there's a not Schmeil Crease or not Kyle Reese. Noah.
Yeah, we see him in the back room.
We see him in the back room, and he's talking to someone. And guess what? It's Clint Howard. And Clint Howard shows up for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
His name is Ricky.
And he's Ricky.
He's a mall Santa.
Mall Santa, and he's just the same exact person as he was in the initiation.
Not really.
Right?
This is like just Clint Howard being Clint Howard.
Right, but he's still Ricky. So
They just call him Ricky.
yeah, we don't need to see Clint Howard.
He
okay?
says something about, they make some sexist joke about the woman that's playing the elf with them,
Yeah.
about how she's a hottie or something. And there's three mall Santas. One of them is Noah.
Yes.
And they're basically talking about how shitty the kids are. And Noah just so happens to look outside the flaps of the curtain they're hiding behind, and she sees the mother and son.
Noah sees the mother and son. Yeah, Derek and Sarah.
Yeah. And he's like, let me take your shift to Clint Howard. Clint Howard's like, what are you, a masochist? And he's like, just give me the goddamn job. And he's like, okay, I didn't say no.
So like, this is the creeper who's like lurking outside their house, driving by, buying all these toys for some unknown child. Like, there's something wrong with this guy. Like, he's got something going on. Like, and then he's a mall Santa. Like, I know that you need money and, whatever, but that's just an odd job for a guy like this to take.
He also said something to the hotel owner that he's responsible for killing. He said something about him being in the service.
Yeah, he was in the service. So he said he just got out of the service.
Yes.
Which is completely
bullshit because of his hair.
Yeah.
He has long hair.
Yeah, he's got like shaggy hair.
Yeah.
But it's so whatever. So he's working in the mall and he sees Derek in line waiting to see Santa. So he's like, tells Clint Howard, I'm taking your job. I need your job, blah, blah. So he goes back out and he sits in the Santa seat, which is crazy because this little girl, apparently the little girl that goes up to see Santa before Derek does, apparently there's like a little, you said there was like a little joke.
She says, yeah, and I want a copy of Bride of Reanimator on VHS.
Yeah, she wants a copy of Bride of Reanimator. That's what she was asking Santa for, and I just don't remember hearing that. But that would have been awesome if I did.
Yeah, because we're not really able to pay attention to it. It's like in the background because we're kind of getting him watching the mother and child.
Yeah.
And he's not paying attention to her, so it's kind of like in the back.
Santa, this is Brandy.
Hello, Brandy.
I don't really believe in Santa, but just in case. I want clothes, and more clothes. What if you don't have that many clothes? I want a 10-speed bike, 3 pairs of earrings, a watch, a pair of sunglasses, VCR, a yellow photo album, and the tape of Bride of Reanimator. Smile!
Yeah. And so as this little girl's talking and telling him her Christmas wish list, he's looking over at Derek and just staring at him like a creep. And then the kid's face, he just changes. Like, he actually starts acting. And his whole entire face, just is, if I can describe it to you, it's like angry and bewildered at the same time. And he's like, wondering why this guy's staring at him. Like, what a creep. He's just staring. And so finally he gets up there and he sits on Santa's lap. And I gotta tell you something, I don't remember any of that. Like, what does he say to him?
Well, if you don't tell him, he won't know what to bring you.
Maybe you'd rather whisper in my ear.
Okay, baby, I'll take you home. Come on.
No!
Let go.
Don't go!
What are you doing? Let go of him!
No, don't go!
No!
Maniac, smile!
It's a really awkward scene because he starts holding on to the kid.
Yeah.
And he's getting very close to him. And he's like, stuff like he knows this kid and he's obsessed with him.
Yeah.
And the mom starts going, he's like basically freaking out the kid a little bit. Like, he does not want to be here.
Yeah, well,
So
because
she starts trying to get him off of his lap.
Yeah, but didn't she say, tell Santa what you want for...
Yeah. She's trying to push him into it, but he's just like starting to squirm. He's starting to freak out. And Noah's holding him tighter. And
Yeah.
she's like, okay, we're going to go.
Like, yeah,
and
let go of
she's
my
trying to
kid.
get him off of his lap. But Noah's like holding on to him.
It's really creepy.
No, he's like, no, just let him stay here with me. Let him stay here for a few minutes with me. It's like, what
it's
the
creepy.
fuck is happening?
I was like, okay, what is going on with this guy? Like, he's just buying toys. He's being a creep. He's like stalking their house. It's just bonkers.
If he gets the child off of his lap, and he does this funny ass pose where he's like, "Damn, foiled again."
Yeah.
It's like if you were telling me this is a story about a pedophile, I would kind of believe it at this moment in this movie.
Yeah, he's a creep.
There's multiple creepers.
Oh yeah, he is monstrous creep. It's weird.
Yeah. There's multiple storylines going here where you don't really know what is going to happen, except you're pretty damn sure you know what's going to happen with Joe Petto. But Noah's character, it is baffling. We have no idea where they're going with that.
Joe Petto.
So, I know, it's wild. We get some shots of Joe Petto's shop.
Yeah.
And we see that he's like having problems with Pino. Is that his name? Pino?
Yes, Pino.
And he's kind of like, I think he's got a little dungeon door in the back of his room, and he's got him in there. That's what it seems like. And we see that Joe Petto is kind of looking at news articles of, I think, the dead man that died in the opening, and he's freaking out, and he's drinking.
Yes.
So we see that he's drinking a lot. And I think we cut back to, like you said, another toy shows up at their house.
Yeah, it's left on the doorstep, and it's a big box.
It's a big box, but the mom brings it in and gives it to the son and says, "This must be from Kim next door."
Yeah.
I don't know why she jumps to that. So she brings it in the house and she puts it on the bed and she says, "You need to sleep in your own room. You know, we gotta move on. It's only been 2 weeks. We gotta move on. The trauma is, hey, just get over it."
Yeah.
You know what?
Just-
Everybody sees
she's
one
fine.
husband die a week. You know, it's okay.
She's fine. She got over it.
Yeah. What does Mrs. White say?
Oh.
Husbands are like
Husbands
flies.
are like Kleenex, soft, strong, and disposable.
There you go. So, so she's like, "Get over it. Here's a present. You know, we're gonna put it here. It must be from Kim." And there's a knock at the door, and she's like, "Okay, you know, go to sleep." She goes to get the door, and it's Kim. And Kim, she's like, "Oh, you brought the present in? Thanks for the present." And she's like, "What present? What are you talking about?" She goes, "Oh, it must be from someone else." Oh, well.
Yeah, she doesn't even care. She doesn't
So Kim
care
just
that-
barrels in the door.
Yeah, Kim just comes right in, and so I don't know why she even has any scenes in this movie. Again, I can't tell you how what a bad actress this woman is. She's just so terrible. I can't even stand the sight of her. She has like this hair that's like she's trying to be Molly Ringwald. I just can't take it. It's
the 90s. She looks like a character from Blossom.
I just couldn't take it.
So, oh, that's a weird reference. Probably half the people won't remember Blossom. But that kid upstairs, this is the smartest thing he does in the whole movie because he reacts to hearing, "Oh, this present wasn't from Kim. So I'm going to try to get rid of it." So he is struggling to get it out the window. He's trying to get it out of the house. He's able to sneak past Kim and his mother and throw it in the front of the house.
In the garbage can.
In the garbage can. But at the same time, Kim's son, who's just left roaming the earth, sees it and runs up and grabs it and opens it. And then at the same exact moment, we have to meet two other characters. A woman and it's like two teenagers virtually. They walk up. This is not teenagers. This guy's wearing a full trench coat. They seem like they're in L.A. I really don't know where they are. This guy's like full on heated up. He's walking up with his girlfriend, and this is like the typical douchebag. And then what's funny is he starts like talking crap to Kim's son as he's opening up, and he finds what are they called?
They're rollerblades.
Like rollerblades, the huge rollerblades that go up like all the way up your leg and everything, you know. And he's like putting them on, and the guy's like, "Hey, watch out, kid." And he's like, "Oh, fuck you, douchebag." Like, this kid does not give a crap. He keeps calling out this guy. And this guy's like, "Whoa,
he's not
wait.
scared at all. You
Hey,
know.
I'm going to kick your ass." And the girl that's with him and he's like, "Yeah, screw you. You're not going to do shit, kid." And he like rolls off with his new rollerblades. And this guy's like, "That son of a bitch." And he's going to go after him. But the girl's like, "No." And they just start making out.
Yeah,
because girls love that when you're picking with a kid and you're fighting with a little kid.
Yeah, you're picking when you're like, 17, 18 and you're picking on a 12-year-old, that makes you cool.
Oh god, you gotta make out after that. Get some sloppy kissums in there.
Oh, it's so gross.
And that kid's rollerblading, and if it wasn't worse, if he already hasn't screwed with this older guy, he runs into him with the rollerblades too.
Yeah.
And then laughs and is like, yeah.
So, yeah, we're thinking, like, okay, this kid's a little turd
He's a little shit.
You know, so we're like, okay, something's going to happen because he's wearing the rollerblades that were left on
What
the
did I
doorstep
say?
for Derek.
I said, please be rockets in them and please explode at the end of it.
Well, that's not really what happened.
It
but
doesn't,
almost.
but I was very close.
Yeah, so the kid's like rollerblading, and all of a sudden his rollerblades go out of control. They go haywire.
Yeah, it's basically just sparklers.
Yeah, it just sparks on the bottom, and so he's spinning around and losing his, balance, and then you cut to the next scene where he's in the hospital.
He falls on his face, right? And you went, he just landed on his hands.
Yeah.
And then the next scene is full on Neil Breen.
Well, no, what happened was the rollerblades kind of sparked and sent him backwards, and he went backwards down the driveway into the street and got hit by a car. Now, when he flipped over the car, he landed clearly just on his, he just flipped with his, back over the car. He did not hit his face at all.
Okay.
And so when you see him in the hospital in the next scene, his whole entire face is bandaged.
Yeah,
Like,
I
his
said
whole
Neil Breen,
face-
but I basically should say the Invisible Man.
Yes,
This kid's wrapped.
Yes, and he was all bloody and
It's like
stuff. I'm like,
Merple.
okay, his whole head was Merple and it's all wrapped up. I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, even better is he keeps mumbling, I can't stop. I can't stop.
Yeah, I can't stop. And he literally was he was going backwards out the driveway, and the car that was coming towards him was literally going 0 miles an hour. And there's no way he could have sustained these injuries during that accident.
Kind of deserved it.
So then you see his mother, who's Kim, in the hospital with him, and she's completely unmoved by any of it. She's the worst actress. And she's just like, oh, they say he'll be okay.
Yeah, because the mother, the main character, what's her name again?
Sarah.
Sarah comes in and she's like, hey, I have to get back to work, but I just stopped in. It's like, what a dick.
Yeah, I have to go back to work. I just
don't
want to
have
see how
to get-
he's doing.
But we would never hear about this woman's job, by the way. I wanted to point that out. We never know what she does.
No, we don't know what she does.
She never really goes to work, but she constantly is mentioning it.
Yeah, does it matter, really?
It doesn't, but it just makes me laugh because
Yeah.
how are they getting by? Because she's trying to buy toys all the time.
Yep.
It's insane. I mean, she just lost her husband. I mean, whatever.
It's just, I don't know. It's,
Yeah.
I don't even, the character of Sarah is so insignificant in
Yeah,
all of this.
Hey, I just want you to know. I'm on a 5-minute lunch break. I just wanted to come and look at this kid.
Yeah, I just want to see how your kid is.
All right, bye.
And then it's just useless, pointless after that. We don't see the kid again. There's no reason to care about him.
Yeah. No, we never see that again. I
No.
don't think we see Kim again after this either.
Yes, we do. We see Kim. The next scene that we're going into is that Sarah goes to work, and not Kyle Reese goes to the house, and the babysitter is there. The babysitter is the girl that was making out with the douche in front of the house, and she's babysitting for Derek while Sarah's at work, and we don't really know what Sarah does, like we said, but not Kyle Reese goes to the house.
No, sorry. We gotta talk about another scene that happens before this.
What scene is that?
So there's another scene where Pino goes to the house.
Yeah.
That happens before all that. Pino goes to the house. Now we cut to Pino and his father arguing. And Pino's like barrels out and he's like, I know what you're doing. And you have to stop. Right? Because there's the toys. And he's starting to think that the toy that was sent to the house was from Pino. So he says to him, I know what you're doing. He's like, yeah. He's like, basically the kid is like mad, this Pino kid. And he is this creepy actor that's playing this Pino character.
Yeah, he is creepy.
He actually goes to the house of the mother and daughter when they're out. And
son.
I'm sorry. What did I say, daughter?
Yeah.
So
when
the family's out.
Yeah.
He goes to their house and he opens up a brick in the back and it actually says Pino 1975, I
Yeah,
believe.
it says Pinot 75.
And there's a key, and I think he's able to break in through the basement. And so we're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
And he gets in the house, and he goes on a fondling of the mother's underwear and basically just like looking at her and
all her stuff. He's not there.
You can see that he's like into her. It's really weird. And we don't know what's happening, but he's all over the house. And they come home, and right when they come home, Kim stops her in the parking lot and says, whether in front of their house, and says, "Hey, I don't know, but I thought maybe you guys were home, but I see you coming home. I thought I saw someone in your house."
Yeah, like
right?
somebody was walking
and
around.
I think that she already let the child in. Kid, he came in the house, and she's like, "Oh my God, he's in the house."
That's right.
So she runs
That's
up
right.
the stairs and screaming his name, and she finds him with his headphones on. It's like a running thing in this movie that he has headphones
he
on.
has
He can't
this
hear anything.
music playing.
It doesn't come back. You think it would be set up for some reason. He finds the headphones on him, and she's like, "Oh, you're okay." But just then, Pino bursts out of the closet and runs out.
That's right. I thought this happened way later, but no, you're right.
No,
it
because
happens
it has to. Yeah, it has to happen before the other thing you were going to say. So she runs to the toy store and confronts Joe Petto. And Joe Petto is drinking Jack Daniels.
Yeah, you could tell he started early.
And it's clearly like Mickey Rooney's making a face drinking the like it's hard to drink, but I think it's only because it's actually iced tea, and he's like, "Oh, real liquid."
Yeah, like
Tastes
he wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, so she comes in the house and she says, "Pino broke into our house and came out of it was hiding in our house." And he's like, "No, my Pino would never do that. My son would never do that." And she's like, "I just saw him do that. I'm going to call the police. I wanted to come to you first, but I will call the police." And he's like, "Okay, I'm sorry. The reason I think it's happened, he did it, is because we used to live in your house." And she's like, "What?" And he's like, "We used to live there a long time ago. My wife, me, and him. And he's been complaining a lot recently, like, I want to go back home. And I think that's why he did it." And she's like, "Why did you move?" And he's like, "It wasn't my decision. We don't have any money.
Yeah.
You know, my store, I was having problems with our store. I lost my wife."
Yeah,
And
it's established earlier on that his wife and unborn son were killed in a car accident.
yeah, and he's like, "It's just me and Peanut. I couldn't afford it. And we had to move out." And she's like, "Look, I'm sorry for all the problems that have happened, but this kid still broke into the house. I do not want to see him near my kid or my house again.
Yep.
I will call the cops next time." And he's like, okay, it'll never happen again." So she leaves, and he goes and he locks him into the basement. He's like, "I'm going to wait, you son of a bitch. If you try to come out of that hole, I'll be waiting and I'll get you." So what does happen is Pino does get out, but they have a fight. And Pino knocks Mickey Rooney beats Pino.
Yeah.
And Pino falls down the steps into the basement again.
Mm-hmm.
And Mickey Rooney's like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. He walks down there. And Pino is like awake, right? And knocks him out.
Yeah, he knocks him out. And that's the last thing we see.
So then she has hired a babysitter to take care of her son, the mother.
Yeah, because she's working late.
And she's got to work late, so she hires, it turns out to be the same girl.
The same girl.
With the douchebag guy when the rocket skate thing happened.
Yes. And so it turns out that she's the babysitter. And so there's a knock at the door, and the little boy just answers the door, doesn't even look in the window, because, you know, it's normal for that to happen after everything he's been through, just to open the door, just be trustworthy. So, yeah. So he opens the door, and it's Noah.
Mm-hmm.
And Noah's holding a gift, and it's all wrapped up, and it says his name on it. It says Derek all over the wrapping paper. And he tries to give him the gift.
Mm-hmm.
And
he keeps saying, take it.
Yeah.
It's really creepy.
Noah's the creepiest, okay? So the babysitter
boss.
comes to the freaking door and says, "Who the fuck are you? Get out of here. You know, you're not coming in here." And, you know, they close the door and lock it. And through the door, Noah says, you know, "Please just tell me where Sarah is. Please just tell me where she is. I have to talk to her." And so the babysitter just says, "Oh yeah, you know,
here's the information.
Here's the address to her where she works."
Yeah. Don't call her and warn her.
Yeah, don't call her and warn her. It could be a freaking murderer.
We'll call the cops and say, this is a weird guy.
Yeah. This girl does nothing right. So,
well,
you know.
She does stop him from entering and stuff like that.
But she does stop him from entering. But, I mean, come on. You're going to give him the address of, you know, to where she works? Like, just here, go commit murder or whatever you're going to do.
Yeah. Well.
So then we cut to Noah showing up at the job, and now this is the most cliche thing in all horror movies. Sarah's walking to her car, and there's not one other vehicle in the entire parking garage.
Yeah.
Not one other human.
Mm-hmm.
She's walking to her car, and of course it's parked all the way out there in the parking garage. And like a freaking bumbling idiot, because it just has to be that cliche, she drops her keys under the car. And she goes under the car to get the keys. And guess what? There's like a storm drain in the parking garage.
Yeah, I think the reason she's starting to panic with her keys is I think she knows that Noah is there.
She knows someone's there.
Yeah, she can tell that someone's following her.
Yeah, so after she tries to get her keys, she realizes that they just fell down into a storm drain. And so she comes back from under the car and she sees Noah and she just starts running. She got scared. She got really scared. And so he chases her, grabs her, and says, "Sarah, it's me." And they just start making out.
Yep, they just start making
out. Like, okay. So turns out Noah is from Sarah's past, 6 years ago to be precise. They were together and they broke up because he wasn't ready to settle down and have like a, family life or whatever. And so he dipped. He just dipped on her and left her.
He didn't know she was pregnant with his child.
And Derek is his child. Woo, revelation.
And he knew it. And he fuck. This is where the movie completely starts falling apart for me because, well, it's already fallen apart, but this doesn't make any sense. The way that he's acting, the way that everything he's done is creepy and insane. But he explains, and this is even more hilariously forced in. He says, "When I followed you to the toy store to talk to you, I recognized the owner of the toy store, Joe Petto. He used to be the guy who owned the toy store in my town when I was a child. And he got in a lot of trouble because he made dangerous toys to hurt the children. And he was chased out of the town because no one can prove it. And it all came back to me when I came in the store and I saw him. So I got worried, and I've been following him and you. You're in trouble. You're in jeopardy." And this woman's like, "That's insane. I don't believe that he would ever do anything wrong." Now, his child was in her house.
Yeah.
We already know, this already established that there is something wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But she's like, no.
Yeah, it's like Pino was already, creeping around her house and hiding in her closet and shit. And you don't think there's something wrong here?
Exactly. So what's even funnier, though, is he says, "I just want to make sure to take care of you." And he basically says, "Well, why did you leave me?" They sit down in the trunk of his car. Mm-hmm. He's got the back flap open of his car, and they sit down on it. And he's like, "Well, why didn't you tell me?" And she's like, "You left me." But then she says, "Well, I wanted to do things in my life, and you weren't financially stable enough to take care of me and the child, so I just dipped." So it's like she's calling him out for dipping on her, but it sounds like she was dipping on him as well. So It's really funny. But the fact that after 6 years and he's like, "I know you had that guy taking care of you, the guy that got killed."
Yeah.
She just was with that guy 2 weeks ago. He just got killed.
Yep.
Or he died, and she's making out with this guy and saying, well, I've always loved you. And, I just needed financial stability.
Yeah, so
It's
she
like
basically just
insane.
married that Tom guy just so she'd have financial stability, not because she really loved him. So
Yeah.
that's why she's over it in like 2 weeks.
She's over it quick. And to double down on how stupid this is and this reveal is, the two of them start making out and laying into the car together to obviously bang.
Yeah.
And at that same time, we cut to the babysitter and the douchebag shows up in the house.
Yeah, her boyfriend shows up in the house
And they decide to start screwing around in Derek's room as he's sleeping in the mother's room. So they got a tiny child's bed and they start going into the bed and they're trying to have sex. Well, I guess they're trying to have sex.
I don't know what it was that they were doing, but it wasn't
butt
sex.
naked. He gets in his undies. He's tidy whities, that guy. And she's kind of like not having everything he's doing, although she's getting naked with him. It's very strange. And at the same time, we're cutting back and forth between the two couples having sex.
Yeah, it was just
Well, not having
weird.
sex, making out and thrusting.
Yeah. Oh, thrusting.
There's a lot of booty thrust in the back of a car in a parking
Thrusting.
garage. And then we cut to a child's bed, and it sounds like they're busting the bed springs.
Thrusting. Oh my god. Scotty said thrusting. Okay, I like thrusting. All right, so they're thrusting, and they're I don't know
One's
whatever
thrusting,
you call it.
the other one's just rolling around.
They all seem to be rolling around. It's the, most
other
ridiculous
couple's
sex
really
scene I've ever
rolling
seen.
around, and he can't get her bra off. They won't stop with the bra trying to get off.
It's too fucking long. Like, honestly, who cares about the fucking bra?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, why are you wasting time on these two back and forth, back and forth, back and forth? Gives a
They
shit.
think this is really arty, jumping back and
It's
forth
not.
between this.
It's fucking, it's
Well, guess
comical.
what, Joe? Guess what? As the babysitter and her douchebag boyfriend are doing whatever they're doing, Joe Petto shows up in a Santa Claus outfit and a bag of toys and drops them on the floor in the doorway that's wide open for Derek just to find his
Oh,
two
yeah,
screwing.
they leave
or
the door open.
thrusting, as you like me to say.
Thrusting.
And he dumps toys out while they're thrusting or groping or whatever the fuck they're doing. And I mean, this is a full-on makeout sesh that has not started thrusting yet. That's bizarre to me. It's just so awkward. And so there's toys. He dumps them on the floor, and there's like 15 toys. So I said to you, oh boy, we're in for it because we have a lot of options here
Yes.
of what's going to happen.
Oh,
next.
yeah, so the toys, let's describe them first. Okay,
Sure.
the toys that he
We have
left.
a flying superhero type of caped character.
Mm-hmm.
We have a robot.
Yep.
A snake.
Yeah.
A severed arm.
A severed arm.
A car with buzzsaws.
Yep. A tank.
Cannon.
A tank.
A tank. A bunch of army soldiers.
Yes, they're actually crawling on the floor.
Yeah. I think there might be a couple more. Oh, there's also like a gorilla.
Yeah, some kind. Yeah, if it's a gorilla. I
Yeah,
don't know.
because he kicks.
Oh, he kicked it. Yeah.
So I'm like, holy shit, we got a lot of options.
But
This could be really fun.
Well,
And I got to tell you, this is probably the best part.
it is. You can tell it. Go ahead.
So the other two are the sex is going back and forth, and every time we get a new shot, the toys are all over the bed, like starting to get closer and closer. And she says, while he's like trying to grope all over her, she says, "Hey, where'd those toys come from?" And he's like, I don't know. We just came in the room. We probably just didn't even notice it because we were fooling around. And then they're on the edge of the bed. And he just says, yeah, they were probably there the whole time. Now, he knows that they weren't there.
Yeah.
By the way, I think he rolled over and smacked her head against the wood of the frame.
Yes.
Of the bed.
Okay. So
and
that
you
was
said, did you hear that?
Yes. I was like, holy shit! Did you hear that? Because she actually made a. She goes, ouch.
I didn't even hear that part.
I think
but
that the actress actually got hurt.
it's not in the trivia or anything.
It's not in the goofs or anything.
There's nothing, really. So, yeah, she sounds like it. But he's like, yeah, it's normal. And he kicks what looks like, because on the edge of the bed, there is a snake wrapped around, a gorilla standing there, and the severed arm. And he just kicks the gorilla off the bed. So they start going at it again. So the arm starts crawling up, and this is amazing. It crawls up to his ass. And it basically starts fingering his ass. And we don't see it, but we know that's what's happening because we cut to his face, and his face is of pure orgasmic glee. And he says, "You've never touched me there before."
No, you never touched me there before.
And so he's got a severed arm fingering his ass. At the same time, there is a snake and something else is on the bed, but I couldn't remember what that was. It looked like it had a ball string thing attached to it. I didn't know what it was. But the snake is crawling up there too. And they're going at it. The hand keeps moving. Then it moves to her boobs and starts groping her. First it goes for her vagina. And she's like, no. And I was like, what? Aren't they about to have sex?
Yeah, first
She's
of all,
like, I'm not having that.
It is the most ridiculous sex scene I've ever seen in my life. Like, I mean, we're 10 minutes into this thing. I'm like, why aren't they having sex yet?
So then the hand moves up to her boobs. She removes it and puts it on his own back. Now, she doesn't know it's another arm. So she wouldn't be able to put it on the guy's back.
Right, because
she thinks it's his arm.
She thinks it's his arm. So how is he going to put his own arm on his own back?
But she doesn't even question that.
Nope.
And for some odd reason, first off, the hand crawls up to his back of his neck, and he says, "Honey, you need some lotion." And she decides to put her two hands behind his back and make a knuckles.
Yeah, like
attach her fingers
like
and make
clasps
it
her
clasp.
hands,
And
like
do like a praying hands type of thing, right behind his back, like she's gonna do a Heimlich maneuver or some sort.
Yeah.
But right at that time, the snake jumps up, wraps around her hands, and tightens. She starts screaming. As he jumps up to see what's happening, the hand grabs his neck and starts choking him.
Yes.
The two are able to get off of each other, but separate off to two different sides of the bed. The woman on one side, and as she's hitting the ground off there, the tank rolls up and shoots her in the chest. But it's basically, since it's a little toy bullet, it just makes like a gash in her chest. And she's screaming, rightfully so, and he's fighting the choking hand. As he's fighting the choking hand, there's a car revving up with buzzsaws and spikes coming out of it, coming toward him. So, at the same time, they keep cutting back and forth between these two being butchered by these toys.
Yeah.
The army soldiers are crawling. A cannon gets rolled up. They all keep shooting her with little bullets. She's getting riddled with bullets. It is insane. Just all kinds of...
But the best is the like monkey thing with the huge teeth that like slides across the floor.
Yeah, that's like a car with a mouth. It's
Yeah,
not even
it's
a monkey.
weird.
Yeah,
it has like a head, like an animal head.
Because her legs are spread open at this point.
Yes, she's on the floor. She's bleeding. Her legs are spread open. So you think that
It looks like it's going right for her.
Yeah. You think
her pooch. It's driving for the pooch.
Pooch?
And it's going for the...
I can't with your word usage tonight.
It's going to take a chomp out of the pooch.
Oh my God.
So it drives up like... Yum, 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 and all of a sudden it just decides to turn and bite her thigh. Right? And I was like, holy shit, is it going to bite her right on the vajayjay?
My vajayjay is paining.
Oh my
God. It doesn't. It bites her leg, and she's screaming.
So all of
She's got bullet holes all over her, like little bullet holes.
Covered in blood. The other guy is freaking dead.
He gets the hand off of him, but right as he gets the hand off, the buzzsaw jumps up, and it's got spikes on its bottom, and it goes into his chest, but not too far. He's screaming, and then it's starting to... Buzzsaws start coming out of the sides, and they start cutting him.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's exactly how he dies, but he dies right there.
Yeah, he dies right there. And then, like, at that scene, the kid...
Oh, I know. A knife shoots out of the front of the car.
Oh, yeah, the knife. Yeah, into his throat. So, like...
So he's dead.
He's dead. There's no coming back from that. And then the kid wakes up.
Well, the kid he heard all of this, and Joe Petto kidnapped him. He put the bag over his...
Yeah, put the bag over his head and kidnapped Derek. So Derek's gone.
Now remember, Noah said to that's his name.
Noah.
Noah's red tattoo said, "You, your kid is in danger. You're in danger because Joe Petto is a creeper," and they just decided to have sex. They're not worried about the kid being alone with the babysitter after hearing that.
No, of course not.
So let's just have sex. So they wake up, they get their shit together, they clean off their nastiness, and they go to the house. As they pull up in front of the house, the babysitter runs out, drenched in blood.
Yep.
And is screaming and jumps on the car, basically. And I was like, this is great. If the whole movie was like this, even Puppet Master doesn't get this neat with the multiple crazy killings and stuff. And that's pretty much as far as that goes until the last 5-10 minutes. But she's like, they I don't know, they're murdered, their toys are all killing, they killed my boyfriend. And he's like, we gotta call the police. And she's like, where's Derek? Where's Derek? And he's like, he's not there. Right? And she's screaming. She's got bullet holes in her. She's got a bite on her leg. This girl's gone through it, and she's only going, where's my son? And he's like, the Noah guy, who just found out this kid is his son, just goes, wait for the police.
Yeah, she goes, fuck you, I'm going to get my kid. I know he's at the pet store, the toy store.
She's like, I know that pedophile.
Yeah.
That Joe Pedophile has him. And she runs to the toy store to go find him. And that's when shit gets real.
Oh my God. The last 10 minutes of this movie, I love it.
She goes in and she goes down into the basement. We finally get to see what's in this basement. And it is a creepy doll factory.
Yeah. Oh my God. There's mannequins down there that are like smiling creepy. Like the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah.
Just nightmare fuel. Fuel. And so there's these red Santa sacks hanging everywhere. Yeah, I said sacks. They're hanging everywhere. Hot sacks. And the kid isn't, obviously he's in one of them. But the creepiest thing happens. It takes me by such a surprise.
Why?
I was completely.
This is a movie where the guy's name is Joe Petto, and his son is called Pino.
I knew exactly
and you
that.
Didn't know?
No, I knew that, but I didn't know that the big reveal was that he was wearing a Mickey Rooney mask.
Yeah, there's a guy on the floor, and I keep pointing this out to Joe. That's not Mickey Rooney. I don't think that it was supposed to be Mickey Rooney's body was on the floor, and it didn't look like him to me. It looked like someone had some makeup smeared on their face, and there's no way they had Mickey Rooney laying down still.
Well, they
probably
used a double, but they put makeup on him because he got brutalized,
Yeah, I couldn't really tell how he died.
You couldn't really tell, but it's supposed to be Mickey Rooney. So when Sarah's down there and she stumbles on Mickey Rooney's body, she's like, what the fuck? And right behind her is
Joe Petto.
Is Joe Petto, Mickey Rooney in the Santa suit.
Yes.
So she's like, what the fuck's happening?
Well, his voice, we didn't hear him talk before.
Right.
But then he talks, and it's Pino's voice.
Pino's voice.
Coming out of Joe Petto's voice. And his face opens up like Men in Black. And Pino, Joe Petto takes off his face, and it's like a robot under there. And then he lifts up and puts Pino's head on his head and says, she's like, what the hell? And he starts saying, like, it's really easy. Dad taught me all about it. He just wanted a child. That's all he ever wanted. And I never wanted to disappoint him. So he goes behind the red sacks, the hot red sack, and he starts taking off all of his clothes, and he comes out as a full-on, like,
he's a doll.
Barbie doll type of body, like Ken
Barbie doll, yeah.
And he pulls his pants down. He needs us to see, and the camera wants us to see that he has no junk.
Right.
And this actor, and the prosthetics kind of look cool.
I mean, I actually love this. I love it because his face is the creepy actor.
Yeah.
Like the actor's like really like super like creepy looking.
Yeah.
He does like weird facial expressions, and then like when he puts his his Pino face on, the back of his head is like that plastic like mannequin head. So like it has like fake plastic hair.
Yeah.
So the only thing that's real on him is his face, and it's so creepy because he's not anatomically correct. He just looks like a plastic doll.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Which is unfortunate because around his neck you can see the leotard, the black suit that he's wearing, and the joints. You can see it clearly fabric. So he kind of takes you out of that a little bit. But the rest of his body looks pretty cool for the joints. It does look like a puppet. And this actor's, we both admit, this actor's doing a good job.
Oh, he's bringing it.
He's really creepy.
You killed him, didn't you? You killed Joe.
I had to. He broke me. He always broke me. And even though he always fixed me, I had to be sure this time that he didn't hurt me anymore.
And he's very robotic.
Very robotic from like the beginning, and I was like, "Oh, this kid's just a weirdo,"
Yeah. I
But,
mean, it's so obvious where we're going. We knew we were coming here.
yeah,
I was
from
waiting
like
for it.
minute one, we were like, "Oh, he wants to be a real boy."
Well, I kept saying that. I was hoping that he would have a toy cricket. I was hoping they were going to go way out.
Oh my god, that would have been too much.
Oh, he had a larva.
Oh, come on.
So he gets naked. Now I got to tell you, this is the most insane thing. He tells her he wants her to be his mother, and that's why he wants to take Derek away, because he wants to be her child.
Yeah. So
and
the
you
whole
know how
plot-
he wants to be mothered? He wants to fuck her.
Yeah. Like literally he tries to molest her and he's like, "Come on, Sarah. I could be your little boy. I could be the best
counter.
I could be the best little boy. You don't need Derek." So the whole entire movie, he's giving this kid toys to try and
Kill him.
just to try and do away with him, just to get rid of him so he could take over his mother.
Yeah, but he puts her on a counter, the workshop bench, and starts thrusting at her.
Where's my boy? His real son died before he was even born. That's why he made me. My father could make anything. Well, almost anything. But I wasn't good enough. He never thought I could love him like a real son can. When he found out I rigged those toys and sent them to your house, he was so angry with me. But don't you see? I had to. Derek has to die. Then you can be my mommy.
Damn you! Where's Derek?
You don't need Derek! I can be your son now! I can! Don't you see? That's why I took him. I knew you'd come. I knew you'd come!
Get away from me!
I can love you like a real son. I can. I can.
I can! I can! I can! I love you, Mommy! I love you! I love you! I want you! I love you! I love you! I love you! I love you!
While
Yeah, and
saying
it's-
to her, I
yeah.
want to be your child.
It's really, really
It's super
disturbing.
creepy.
It's
yeah.
disturbing. Everything about this character, the way he looks and just is just disturbing.
Yeah. He's like, I didn't want to hurt my father, but he left me no choice. It's really easy. He taught me how to make people, so I could just keep making myself. I could do it on my own. But I just want a mother. I want to be mothered.
Yeah, and he wants to live in his old house again and have that life.
Yeah. So he's now at the same time, Derek comes in. Not Derek.
Noah.
Well, Noah. Noah comes in, and this guy's a fucking jackass. He can't do a damn thing. He just keeps bumbling his way into this place. He can't do shit. He's trying. What was one of the things he did? I know one of them. He squirts him in the face with some kind. I think he gets shot in the neck.
He does by one of the airplanes.
And he's still fine. He gets shot with a water gun in the face too. It seems to be some kind of acid, but it doesn't do anything to him.
No.
He just can't do anything. He comes in the room and tries to get an axe and hit him. And Joe Petto, Pinot Noir, he takes the axe from him and just beats him and almost kills him. He also stops stabbing the sack in which Derek is in. He's like, I'm going to kill him.
Yeah,
because
he
I want
wants
his
to
place.
try and kill this kid.
Yeah,
He
I don't know
really
why.
does.
And this is one of those movies that all he had to do instead of killing the babysitter was kill Derek.
Yeah, and he had him in this sack the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, why are you waiting for Sarah to get here?
Exactly. Why would
could
you
have
want
killed him
to?
already.
If you want this woman to care about you, why would you kill the son in front of her. Why wouldn't you make it Joe Petto be the villain?
Right.
And secretly be masterminding the whole thing.
Exactly.
It is so dumb. Like,
Yeah.
it's just so stupid. And, yeah. She takes the axe, the mother, and is able to hit him.
Yeah,
Not Noah.
No,
Noah
doesn't
can't do anything.
shit. He's
Yeah.
a jackass.
No wonder she dumped him.
She takes the axe and like literally chops him in half.
Yeah.
And so he's crawling on the floor, and there's like some cool shit going
They
on
keep
there.
hacking limbs off of him, and he keeps coming back like the Terminator. But then finally, he's in half.
And he's in half, and he's crawling on the floor, and you can tell he's like spazzing out. His circuits are overloading, and it's really cool the way they did it. I think because I thought that was really creepy.
Yeah, he's crawling to Mickey Rooney, and he's like a father. Only he always wanted a child.
Yeah.
He always wanted, and he's like dying, and he's like talking like a robot breaking.
Yep.
And he I think they hit him in the head.
Oh yeah,
And he's dead.
she steps on his head and cracks his head open, and that was it. And then that was the end of the movie.
They leave. They get Derek out of the sack, and they leave. And Derek decides to come back. Oh, she's like freaking out with the robot, and Derek decides to come up Tiny Tim style and say, "He's just a toy.
He's just a toy. Don't
Mom,
be afraid, mommy.
He's just a toy."
Just a toy. Yeah.
And that's when he speaks, and they leave. And Derek comes back and says one more thing to the camera or something. Remember when you went, "What the fuck?" And then they scrolled up and they showed the mannequin's face.
Yeah, he comes back and says it's just a toy. It's just a toy.
He says that to us.
Yes, he says it
again
to us, and then they
because he said it to
pan up.
her, and then he says it to us.
Yeah, and then they show this creepy ass mannequin. It's like a child mannequin with like the weird hair
And a weird smile.
and a weird smile, and
We see the electricity go through it.
yeah, its eyes glow. So like obviously that's gonna be the next.
There's more, but they're just toys.
Yeah, they're just toys.
And it's Finn.
Yeah, I gotta tell you something though. This movie was not as bad as Part 4. I got through this one just fine. Yes, there was a million things wrong with this movie.
Yeah.
But this one was much better than Part 4.
I just feel like both movies there's an interesting concept in there. There's some interest. I mean, this is not interesting. The other one at least had some kind of interesting thing about witches, and it could have been better if they fleshed it out and made it better. And it also had better actors. I think the first 4 would have been decent with better actors. This one, it's a very stale plot. They tell you straight up this is what's happening.
Oh yeah.
So there's no twists. The only twist is that Noah's a creeper, and the fact that she starts having sex with him is so bad because she just saw her. I don't know. They never say it's her husband, but that guy is dead that she's with, and it's been 6 years that he's been like with them, and she just got over it and starts making out with a guy and having sex with a guy who's been stalking them.
Yeah.
Why he did this Santa Claus thing, half the movie is like a red herring. It's all lies, just to keep us on our toes. But we're told Joe Petto and Pino, you already know the plot.
Yeah.
And you already know there's killer toys, and the movie's called The Toy Maker. It's all this big, hey, this is the plot. And it's all like spoiling the plot. So it doesn't really make any sense. You don't know where it's going. I had no idea in 4 there was going to be cockroach monsters and throwing up that stuff and body horror. I wasn't expecting any of that. It's just that movie had such terrible actors.
Yeah.
This movie, it also doesn't have great actors, and the plot is kind of a mess.
It is a mess, but it was more entertaining.
I think that's just because we like killer toys.
Yes, but also it was more entertaining overall. I mean, and also it was better acted.
That's touchy.
If you take Kim out of the equation, I mean, why'd they have to put her back in here? She's freaking dreadful. But at least she didn't have a lot of screen time. She was just thrown in. But I'm definitely giving this a 5. It's better than the 4 I gave the last one.
It's a 4. This is another mess.
I'm giving it a little bit better because it's a mess, but it's better than the last one we watched.
I mean, if you're gonna score it just by saying it's better than the last one, then every series you've ever watched would get better. Because it's like, oh, at least this has a moment better.
No,
this
one doesn't
really
have
that much better.
It has a couple things better. The acting, like I said,
I don't think it does.
The plot is a little bit I mean, it's okay.
Like
I
you
mean,
said, the main character, the woman, is barely a character.
right, but I can't in good faith give this a 4 because the other one's a 4.
Yeah.
And the other one was worse.
But I think that's you. That's why I'm shocked you didn't give the last one a 3.
I don't know. Maybe I'll change it because
I think they're both 4s. I think they both have the right amount of bad and the right amount of interesting to make them at least stay that high.
All
They
right.
both have something about them that are interesting and intriguing. It's just that this one has maybe it lacks just a little bit of bad acting that it was so harsh in the last one. But the parts with the main actress in 4 going through the suffering is well acted. So it's very, very weird to me.
Yeah, I mean,
It's kind of a mess in that sense.
I'm gonna give the other one a 3, and I'm gonna give this one a 4, just because I have to.
I mean, yeah, you can just see that they're both 4s because they both have something. I mean, and like I didn't like this one either. It's just the only thing that was really fun was watching the actor be Pinocchio.
Yeah, I mean, I like that.
He's just not in it enough, and
Right.
there's not enough setup. If the movie was just the toy maker killing people in his kid's life, then I'd be a little more interested. Instead, it's just like people accidentally are getting killed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's how I feel. Like it's a 4. I don't know. I couldn't say anything else about it.
No, there's nothing to say. It's like, eh.
Yeah, I mean it's not. I thought it could have been way worse. It could have been way, way, way worse. I think 3 is still the worst of the bunch.
Yeah, I think 3 is really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right, I'll give this one a 4. I mean, I'll give it a 4. I didn't really hate it.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all I got.
Christmas Smackdown continues. Who knows what's next? Because I have no idea where we're going next with this.
It's got to be a Hallmark piece of shit.
Oh, okay.
It's got to be. What about that new one with Lindsay Lohan?
Oh, okay. Well, we'll check it out. Maybe that'll be the next one. Who knows? We're going to see.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us. Have a good one. Happy holidays.
Hello there, all of you nice people in St. Louis. I thought maybe you'd like to see some scenes from our Mickey series. For some strange reason, How many seconds is this piece of shit?
Doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
Keep it all ready to go, okay, please?
It's bad to read it. I'm reading off here, right? Can you put it close to the camera?
St. Louis, take 2.
Hello, all of you nice people there in St. Louis. Thought you'd like to see some of the scene. Hi there, all you nice people. I thought maybe you'd like to see some scenes from our new Things are written so bad.
All right,
Hello, all of you nice people.